In 2020, the global self-storage market was valued at $48 billion, and it's expected to reach $64 billion by 2026. That's a lot of stuff sitting in orange storage lockers unused that could be put to better use. I'm George Grant Birch, a realtor and residential lifestyle consultant in Houston, Texas. And today I'm going to give you 4 ways to get rid of stuff that you no longer need. It can be really overwhelming when you face a large amount of items that you've had, often for many years. Sometimes it's a little hard to figure out how to get rid of those things or get those things into someone's life who can use them and love them. So I'm going to help you organize the process with 4 ways to get rid of stuff. First, it's important that you start with a plan. If you have a large amount of things that you need to move out of your life, and especially if they belong to multiple family members and different people in and out of your current household, it's important to involve your family in planning the process. So you want to maybe have a family meeting or a family Zoom call or something like that to get together and plan the process. Make some rules, some decisions, make some roles very clear, who is the leader of this process, and then figure out where there may be pain points or disagreements, particular items in the house that need to move on to someone else, or particular items that need to go away that somebody may feel an odd attachment to. Try to get all that stuff settled before you begin. Set a date that you're going to start and a date that you're going to finish so that you have a calendar of events for getting the house and stuff decluttered. Gather up your tools and equipment, determine what you're going to need to get it all done. I highly recommend a dumpster. And sometimes the process of decluttering, when it's really a big job, sometimes you may need a self-storage unit temporarily in order to get things out of the way until they can be dispensed with in their final manner. And then finally, plan to hire some help if you need it. It's a big project, and especially in a home that you've lived in for a long time, you can't go it alone. You're probably going to need some professional help, at least for parts of the job. So keep all that in mind while we talk about the 4 places that the things are going to go. So place number 1 for the things in your house that shouldn't be there is home with their rightful owners. You're not an orange public storage facility. If you're feeling the pain of somebody else's stuff in your house, let them feel it. If your kids have you hanging on to things from their childhood because they haven't taken them into their new life yet, they're probably not gonna take them into their new life. So put them in a position where they have to make a decision. Do you want this? Come get it. If you don't want it, I'm going to donate it, give it away, whatever. I'm going to move it down the process. But it is coming out of my home by this date. Remind them that your goal is not to get rid of things. Your goal is to reclaim space, reclaim your life, and put yourself in a position where you can spend more time with them and spend more time enjoying life together. The second way to get things out of your house is to donate it. Pretty obvious, but sometimes that's trickier than you think. Typically, any usable furniture, clothing, sports equipment, instruments, other useful household items can be donated pretty easily to local charity shops, or nationwide charity chains exist also. Many times you can also donate those things to church bazaars or school rummage sales, things like that, anywhere that people will appreciate the donation of items of value. It's a great way to get rid of low value, usable items that you just don't have a use for any longer. Plan a purging cadence, whether it's weekly, twice a month, monthly. Just know that once a month, I'm going to go to the donation spot. I'm going to go to the drop-off spot and drop off a box of donations so that you don't have this enormous pile collecting up in the corner of a room. You just have a modest pile that you add to from time to time. And then once a week, once a month, however often is appropriate, you get rid of it. If you have somewhat more valuable items that you don't want to just donate randomly, try Facebook, church bulletins, word of mouth to find a home for important things. There are people who can use them and people who will appreciate getting them, and you'll feel better knowing that your item has gone to someone who can use it. The third way to get rid of no longer needed items is to sell it. There's a lot of different ways you can do that as well. For lower value items, a garage sale is a great way to get rid of a lot of things quickly and surely. Everybody's done it. Put it in the driveway, mark it with a price, haggle, 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 and at the end, give it away to people who will take it off your hands for pennies on the dollar. It doesn't owe you anything. It's stuff you don't need. So keep that in mind. Let it go. Make what money you can and get everything into the hands of someone who can use it. If you have a little bit more valuable items, especially collectibles, antiques, things like that, check with some of the specialty shops in your town to see if they have a need for that type of inventory. I know here in Houston on 19th Street, there are some antiques dealers who from time to time may want to buy something from you. There are a couple of different resale furniture places and consignment places. Those are good ways to get rid of valuable items. And even sometimes designer clothing and jewelry can be sold on consignment. Finally, you can sell it on eBay, Etsy, Craigslist, any of those amazing modern ways we have to sell items to people who need them. If you don't know how to do that, then find a millennial who does and pay them a commission. Give them a little bit of the money to do it for you. It still gets it out of your house. You still get a little bit of money for it, and then they get something to do and they know how to do it, and you don't have to learn a new skill that you'll only use once. If this is the kind of content you appreciate, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button down below. I've got lots of great content coming your way to help you right size your home and your life. And I'll put links to that in the description box down below. So finally, before I move into my fourth way to get rid of stuff, I want to give you a little bit of a reality check. This may be hard for some of my boomer friends out there. There are certain items that you place sentimental value in that have very little value to anybody else. Those items specifically are china, crystal, and stainless hollowware. If you have silver, that's real silver, that obviously has some monetary value in the metal. But china, crystal, and silverware have no real value to anybody beyond the value that it's a plate they can eat off of. A china plate in this day and age has really no more value than a piece of porcelain dinnerware. Keep that in mind. And you may not like that fact, but it's true. And if you don't believe me, try to give a few sets of china away to your kids. They don't want it. That's a way we lived in the past. They don't live that way today. And it's just something they have to pack and move and worry about. The second thing is books, magazines, encyclopedias. It's not that books don't have some value. They just don't have the major value that they had when we were younger. And I know my parents took great pride in having a ton of books in the house. And my mother's comment was always, "Are you bored? Read a book." Well, we had all kinds of books. And guess who got to deal with all of those books when she passed away? And I didn't know what to do with them. Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted a set of World Book Encyclopedias from 1959. Think about those things. Magazine. Why did people in the mid-1900s feel like they needed to keep every issue of National Geographic magazine? I really don't get it. My grandmother had them. My mother had them. I have thrown away more National Geographics in my short life than I would have ever thought existed. Reader's Digest. Nobody wants any of that stuff. Get rid of it. Shred it. And finally, the other thing you're going to have trouble getting rid of is upholstered furniture. There are a few places that may take it, but by and large, ever since the pandemic, most donation shops, most resale shops, have refused upholstered furniture. People just don't like to reuse upholstered furniture. Sometimes people will buy it and have it reupholstered, but for the most part, upholstered furniture is really hard to get rid of. So unless it's something really valuable or in incredibly good condition, it's probably best to just go ahead and put it on the street. If somebody wants it, they'll take it, but chances are it's going to go in the dumpster, especially if the fabric is soiled or the chair is dirty or worn. Just get rid of it. Nobody wants it. And that leads me to my final way to get rid of stuff, which is to throw it away. There's no harm in throwing things away or recycling things that can be recycled. broken, torn, soiled, worn. Yes, somebody might be able to revive and resurrect those things, but if you're not willing to do it, then it's garbage. So throw it away. Don't donate that thinking somebody else is going to come in and buy it and fix it up. It's just not going to happen. And a good rule of thumb for whether you should throw something away or not is offer it up to 3 different places or people. Take it to Goodwill, take it to the Salvation Army, call your church, ask if anybody wants it. If you get a no 3 times, it's garbage. So put it in the dumpster. And that's my final point. If you're doing a big clean out of a big house, a dumpster is a really good idea, especially if you're going to bring the family in for a weekend and say, okay, we're going to purge this house and we're going to get rid of all the stuff as a family so that none of you have to do this when I'm dead and gone. Get a dumpster and have them put it in the driveway and get stuff in it. And remember, that's your chance to get rid of big stuff, heavy stuff, tons of stuff, stuff you need help moving, stuff you need help lifting, stuff you need help hauling. Do it with a dumpster. And then when the dumpster gets hauled off, that's your deadline. So you have to make a decision before the dumpster goes. If you don't get rid of it in the dumpster, it's going to be harder to get rid of. So a dumpster is a great way to do a big purge and set your family up for a happy future without having to make difficult decisions about what to do with stuff. If you want more tips about getting more usefulness and a happier life out of your home, subscribe to my channel and check the description box down below for my other videos. Thanks for watching.